All right. Thanks everyone for joining us today. We're going to go through today's training, which is dental providers. So this is a huge resource for individuals who want to use and gather some great referral partners. Again, here at Senior Med Solutions, we strive on creating strong, powerful relationships within the community, and dental providers is huge. And so we're going to get into a couple details. The reasons you're listening to this is because you want to know how to work a referral source and get certain type of leads. And dental providers is something, especially in Arizona, that we feel very strongly about, that we love, and that we work very closely, and in other areas too. Now, this may not always apply to you, depending on where you live and what your plans look like in your area. But we encourage you to always take a look at something like this, dental providers, some of the other trainings we have, working with primary care physicians and everything. They all tie in together. So you always want to take the basics of this. So even if this plan does not apply to you, let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what you can draw from dental providers and pull into your own relationship marketing in the area. So couple of things that we want to make sure is to go over our objective, make sure that we're clear on what we're doing, and really get into some of the details about how and why does this approach work? How did we come up with it, and what are some of the main components of it? We're going to help you identify current providers, identifying eligible providers, reaching out to these providers, educating them, building the relationships, and then our main goal is the follow-up. So how and why does this approach work? So first and foremost, we got to think about the reason behind this approach, and that is that we are marketing to a specific demographic, and that individual in particular just so happens to be the dual market. So we're focusing on the dual advantage plans, the Medicare Advantage plans for the individuals who have both Medicare and Medicaid. Remember, that's dual individuals for both products, one from federal government and the other one from the state. So this is going to work great, especially with a lot of these programs that we're running with on the dual market. There's going to be some other plans out there depending on what your county offers and what your state offers. But for this training purposes, we're going to go strictly over the dual plans. And just as a disclaimer, I am going to use Arizona as my examples. And so just remember that no matter what, you got to cater to whatever your benefits are in your state. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're really going to visit a lot of current providers. We're going to start. So a lot of times when agents go out, they don't see very much success because what happens is they hear this, there's this great marketing plan and it's called Go and Visit Dental Providers. So what they do is they start driving down the road and they see one dentist here, or they see, a tooth and a toothbrush as their marketing signs, and they stop and pull over and they take a look at those dentist offices. They walk in and they go up to them and they start talking to them without even realizing they may have walked into a pediatrics dentist office and they don't cater to adults, so they're probably not going to qualify for the plan. They may go into another facility that dentist really does not like HMOs, does not believe in how the HMO model works, does not like how they get paid, and thinks it's just a big, waste of time. And the agent will go through, a typical agent will go through it and hit these roadblocks a couple times throughout the day, and then just say, hey, you know what? I visited, 8, 9, 10 dentist offices. This doesn't work. It's not true. I want to let you guys know that this is one of my marketing ideas that I used very heavily to get a lot of leads from. Today is October, and we have an individual who has over 200 applications for the year, and about 50% of those applications are from dentist offices and the referrals. This is happening everywhere, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Agents are doing this all over the states. So it's a huge benefit, and we really got to utilize the method that we have here at Senior Med Solutions with our Feet on the Street program and really execute on that, because it's set up differently than what the typical agent will do. Like I said, the typical agent will just drive down the road. They'll go ahead and hit every other type of dentist office or anything that they see driving down the road. We want to be a little bit smarter. And I know it sounds very simple, but you'd be surprised how many agents don't do this. So they just get in the car, start driving. So We want you to use current providers. And the way we're going to find that is we're going to go to any provider directory and look up current contracted providers. You can find that in both the physical directories and online directories. Personally, I like going to do the online directories because what you can do there is you can go to the carrier's website, pull up the online provider directory, search a 10 to 15 mile radius, because remember, that's what we're doing with our market map. If you need to, you can go back and watch the videos on that. But we're choosing a 10 to 15 mile radius, and we're going to go ahead and pull a list of all those dentists that are already contracted in that area. All you need is one company, and just start from there. So again, like I said, for my examples, I'll use a lot of United Healthcare. And so if you're going to start with that, go onto United Healthcare's online directory for the specific plan that you're going to represent. Pull up all the providers within a 10 to 15 mile radius of the zip code that you're going to be working. And there's your list of people to go into. Now, this has happened in the past, so just remember, just because they're in the directories, they may not have a current contract. They may have signed a contract thinking that they were getting group benefit plans or other type of retirement plans, and not really thinking that they were getting on the Medicare Advantage or even the Medicare low-income dual plans, and thinking that they signed one contract without realizing they're getting onto a dual plan or anyone else, any other type of HMO or anything like that. But when you're going through and you do start talking to them, a couple of key things to remember is, ask them, do you accept Medicare, Medicaid patients for your current providers? And always ask them if they have other locations as well. You're going to want to start opening up a dialogue, and I'll show you in the next couple of slides how we go about doing things, because it is a little bit different, but it is very unique, but it is very effective. And remember, this is a process. This isn't a wham and bam and we're done and you're going to get all these leads. It's a process. So we're going to ask you to follow the system, and we'll continue working from there. So one of the things is we're going to identify eligible providers. Now that we've already gone through and we've found who's contracted, we want to find out who are the eligible providers, meaning, yes, they may have a contract, but again, like I said, many providers, they don't even know anything about our programs and how the contracting process works. So they may or may not be too happy to accept the plan. And if they were putting on the provider directory by mistake, go ahead and cross them out, let the provider know, and hopefully they can get taken off the list. So we want to find out of those contractor providers, who's eligible, who's excited, who understands the plan, who understands the billing and everything like that, and will be able to utilize the plan along with your members. So those are finding some of the eligible providers. Now, work within your current network. Again, especially if you're starting out, you can definitely go through your own dentist, your personal family, friends, neighbors. Do you go to anybody with churches? Do you go to anybody, maybe your kids play sports? Do you have any other type of extracurricular activities where you know these individuals that you can go ahead and approach and let them know, again, by using your elevator speech of what it is that you do and how you can help them out. Because again, in my opinion, if anyone's got a Medicare number and a heartbeat, and especially if they're a dentist, they're definitely going to want to work with us. So we'll go ahead and show them and educate them why they want to work with us. Be attentive to who your clients currently use. So as you're enrolling people, those are missed opportunities for warm referral sources. And so many agents don't take the time to go through and ask these type of questions. I know it sounds very basic. I know it sounds very simple. But the thing is, you got to remember that this is an approach that a lot of agents have either one, tried, or two, just completely given up on it without even giving it a chance. So those who have tried are going in there kind of working on it, on the relationship, starting from ground zero. But if you have one, your current network, or two, your client's current provider, that's a huge benefit. You can definitely call up that office and say, hey, my name is Marcos. I just enrolled a client of mine who says that they use you as a dental office. Did you know that Mrs. Johnson can now go and receive dental services this upcoming month through her Medicare Advantage plan with no additional cost? Are you working with an agent? I'm going to be in the area. I'd love to swing by and give you some of my information. So by doing that, you're able to create that relationship, and they're going to be able to be connecting the dots and say, oh, this person actually qualifies for that type of a plan, and they can actually get additional work done at no extra cost to these clients. When you're out and about, if you do want to go through different marketing for other things like presentations, and you're out taking appointments, keep your eyes open, keep your head on a swivel, search for any type of providers who advertise either a low income or accepting new patients in low income areas. That'll definitely give you an idea of who to go talk to as well. If they don't pop up on the provider directory, they may not be contracted with that particular company that you're looking at. So we want to keep an open mind about all different opportunities, and those ones that are not in the provider directory but show that they accept Medicaid or low income or anything like that, accepting new patients in that type of an area, we're going to take a completely different approach, and we're going to go into that detail in a different training. But what we want to do right now is set ourselves up with kind of like the low-bearing fruit. Get your feet wet so you can understand how the process works, and then go after those other individuals. And also, we want you to get out and start enrolling members. This is a very hot benefit, and I will show you actually how that works in just a little bit. But we want you to see results right away. And then afterwards, then you take on some of those other providers who may not be already contracted, or who may be with a different carrier, anything like that, who aren't on your list. Then you can go out and expand into those ones. But for right now, we want you to get the basics. We want you to understand how these individuals can work with you, and the process of getting everything set up, and then go on from there. So there's two methods to reaching out providers. Very simple. One, after you pull up your provider directory and you find your list of individuals, you're going to pass by and you're going to let them know that you're going to be working in the area. You also want to let them know that if they're familiar, you also want to ask them if they're familiar with the plan. A lot of people, again, like I said, may have signed the contract not knowing that they got a Medicare Advantage HMO type plan, and they may be upset about it, and they don't want to be on the plan. They want to let it go, or maybe they had a hard time billing with this company and they prefer not to use them. Whatever the case is, that will happen from time to time. So you want to know, hey, how familiar are you with these plans? Do you understand how the billing works, what they are able to provide for your current clients and my members? Like, do you understand how we can go and work together? So just get familiar with them on that one right there. Also, we have a provider call script. It's very simple. It literally is something that we put together that you can go ahead and call and use and adapt to your own liking. Again, it's completely customizable, and it also depends on the plan and the benefit amount that you can go ahead and insert that particular information that's specific to you and your plan in your area. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to go over that real quick. As you see, everything in here is for a reason, and I will explain it in just a second. There is a reasoning on why we go about saying things the way we say them and doing things the way we do them. Now we got to remember, this is our first approach into the dentist office, whether by phone call or by driving by. And our main goal is not to spend 15, 20 minutes there in front of the person or keep them on the phone. Chances are they're too busy to even take the time to even listen to you 100%. So we just want this maybe 5 minutes max. Watch my videos on working with providers. We actually did a quick elevator speech and quick pitch to a dental provider. And so you're going to want to see those videos as well. But in the meantime, here's really what it comes down to. And it's just simply introducing yourself. Hello, my name is Marcos. I'm an independent agent with United Healthcare. I understand that you're a contracted provider with the United Healthcare Dual Complete Plan. Is that correct? Great. I'm reaching out to let you know that I'll be helping enrolling individuals onto this plan within a 10-mile radius from your office, and wanted to know, are you accepting new patients at this time? Okay, good. As you know, this plan is for individuals who are on both Medicare and Medicaid, and if they qualify for this plan, they receive up to $1,500 a year to use towards dental benefits. Now, are you currently working with an agent, or do you have anyone that comes by and helps you out with any type of questions? Okay, sorry about that. Well, like I said, I will be enrolling individuals in your area and wanted to make sure that you're accepting new patients, because when I enroll members on the plan, I need to know that there are dentists in the area. And then, honestly, a lot of times when I enroll members, they're expecting to receive these benefits for the first of the following month. And I want to point them in the right direction of someone who understands the plan and how to maximize their benefits. It's really simple. I'll be in your area next Thursday. I wanted to stop by and introduce myself so you're familiar with me when I send clients your way. And also in case, if you have any questions, I also want to drop off a simple flyer. So when individuals come into your office who qualify, you can give them my information and I can actually help them out and enroll as well. Is that okay? That's really my whole script for when you make a phone call. Obviously that last sentence is going to be adjusted if you go into the office itself, but you want to keep it nice, quick, and simple. Get to know the script, memorize it, adapt it to how you feel best fits your needs. But like I said, everything in here is for a reason. At the very beginning, we're introducing ourselves. We're letting them know who we are. We're with United Healthcare. And that when you say, I understand that you're a contracted provider with United Healthcare Dual Complete Plan, is that correct? There is some sales tactics in there. You want to get them to agree with you and start saying the yeses and kind of all that, but you want to build a relationship. And I always walk in with that provider directory printout and I show them, hey, you are our contracted provider. So whether you know it or not, or whether you want to be it or not, when my clients pull up the information online, your name pops up. So I got to know, do you understand how to work with this plan? And you're going in there with authority, letting them know, oh, no, you do accept this plan. You're on the provider directory. Let's work together. It's very simple, And so when you go through, you're hitting that confidence. You walking in there and letting them know, yes, they accept it. And then, of course, like I said, explain to them what you're doing. You're working a 10 to 15 mile radius and wanted to know if they're accepting new patients at this time. Of course, they're going to say yes. Why wouldn't they say yes? And so you get them nodding and saying yes and agreeing with you a little bit more. And then you info drop on them a little bit about the plan. Okay, well, if you're not familiar, then that's okay. They are offering up to $1,500 this year towards dental benefits. And I just want to know, are you actually working with a current agent? You don't want to go in there and try to bulldoze your way through and talk to them and in the end realize that they've already worked with somebody in the past and that they are currently working with them, and that's kind of just a missed opportunity for you. So you don't want to go in and kind of just keep coming back and forth and bothering them when they're working with another agent. It's a waste of your time. And we're going to go over that kind of making priority lists with your dentist offices and providers. So you get to know a little bit about them. Now, remember, this approach is only for the front desk or whoever picks up the phone. You do not have to talk to the dentist. You do not have to talk to the billing manager. You don't have to talk to anyone like that is in charge of, office managing, executive positions, nothing like that. If you get to that point in the future, that's awesome. This is directed straight to the first person that you see when you walk in the office. And why is that? Because the person who's answering the phone calls and the person who is actually greeting the clients as they come in, they're going to be the first line of defense. They're the ones that are going to be asked the questions of, do you accept my insurance? Or, hey, I don't know if any of these cards, pay for any Medicare or any dental services. Just pick one and bill it. They're going to have to sort through all that. I mean, it looks like somebody's playing poker sometimes. Somebody walks in and lays 15 different cards down and says, hey, I don't know which one pays for dental services, but I've got a toothache. Can you just pick one and bill it? And that way, an individual at the front desk, they're the ones who are going to go through and decipher all those cards and this plan and that plan. So they are the most important people that I build a relationship with. In the last 10 years that I've been doing this, I've only dealt with the front office. A handful of times have I dealt with executive management, and then maybe 3 or 4 times have I talked to dentists themselves. They're too busy being dentists, being in the back, drilling teeth and everything like that. That's what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing by working on the relationship with the front office. So remember, this plan is, this script is totally customizable. It really depends on the year that you're presenting. Again, in Arizona, United Healthcare went from $1,500 to $2,500. Next year, they're going to be $3,250. So, you're going to want to adjust this script as you go along. And you're also going to want to do different carriers if that's your approach with a different, Humana, Molina, Blue Cross, Aetna, whoever it is. You're going to obviously tie that in there and educate them on the benefits tied specifically to that carrier. So, again, our main goal is to get in and get out, because they are used to people coming in, trying to pitch them for 20 minutes, and they are sitting there on the phone trying to get a prior authorization. They're trying to schedule somebody to come in. They're trying to, do all this office stuff. And the last thing that they need is an agent who's going to come by and sit around. So we want to earn that relationship with them. So we're just going to let them know that we are going to be passing by, and we want to know what day is most convenient. Especially, I've seen this a lot in dentists. Dentists will have crazy hours. Sometimes they'll be they'll be working at the office from, Monday from 10 to 4, and Tuesday they're there from 8 to 12, and Wednesday they're there from 1 to 8 o'clock at night. Who knows? Their hours differ all the time. And so, you just want to come by one of these days that they're not so busy, that they have a couple of, a little bit of downtime, so you can go ahead and talk to them a little bit more and explain to them a little bit more about what you do. But you're not going to stay long, 5 minutes max, maybe. And then you can earn your way into that relationship to where you can actually get more time. And you don't feel like you're such a bothersome to them. So you definitely want to build that relationship. Don't forget to leave business cards and or flyers so they can reach you in case they have any type of questions. Okay, that's always huge. That's what we're going to go into. As you can see in my approach on our videos, I only take one flyer in and I leave it, and then that sets me up for the 8-week challenge. What is the 8-week challenge? The 8-week challenge is where we're going to challenge our agents to go out there once a week for 8 weeks. I know that sounds like a lot. I know that sounds kind of aggressive, but this is what I've seen. Typically, I will see an agent who is not within our agency, who's been taught this by the carriers, just like many of us have, or being taught by different carriers, different agencies maybe. They will go, and a typical agent will go out there once, maybe every couple of weeks. So let's take the same time period. What I would do as a typical agent, I will go in there and I will info dump on them. I will talk to them for 10, 15 minutes, try to let them know all the information in one first visit, and drop them off about 50 flyers. Now, part of me chuckles because I've been this agent before and I've made the mistakes. And so I know and I understand of the frustration it comes, and why people give up on it is because I almost gave up on it because I was doing it wrong. And now I'm trying to educate you guys on how to do it. So, you'll go in, they'll go in, and typical agent will go in and they will info dump, like I said, drop off a bunch of flyers, maybe give it 2 or 3 weeks, and they'll come back by in the area because they're not working a 10 to 15 mile radius. They could be driving all over town. And also don't forget that they're too busy going to every single dentist office that is in the area that may not even be on the provider directory. So you take that same time frame, over 8 weeks, I will see them maybe 2, maybe 3 times, right? Well, you as an agent doing Feet on the Street with Senior Med Solutions, you will actually be able to get in and build that relationship over time. And by natural progression and just naturally over that same time frame, if I were to see them 2, maybe 3 times, and every time I went in, I asked for leads, I gave them more flyers, and I left. And I tried to spend 15, 20 minutes with them, and I just made it awkward. That 2 or 3 times versus 8 weeks that you went and visited them and educated them along the way and really taught them how to connect the dots on what it is that you're doing, and the steps that we're going to go over in just a second are going to be completely different than majority of the agents out there. And so we're going to set it up for that 8-week challenge. Now, part of this 8-week challenge is we're going to start educating them. And we have a couple different phases, phase 1 and phase 2, and we're going to educate these providers by helping them identify who qualifies. The thing that most people are going to think about, of course, when you say, hey, I work with Medicare Advantage plans, they're going to think, oh, Medicare, you have to be 65. You have to be, quote unquote, older individual, a senior, to be on these plans. Let's not get stuck into Medicare age 65 and older. Let's educate them every time we go in. Drop them a quick Medicare 101. Hey, just so you know, like on this flyer of mine, this red, white, and blue card represents anyone who has Medicare. Did you know there's 3 ways that somebody can become Medicare eligible? They can be 1, age 65, which of course everyone knows that. 2, they can have end-stage renal disease, which is kidney failure. And that means that they're going to dialysis all the time and having to get their kidneys flushed. And it's a very painful process, and it's very expensive. So the government kicks in with Medicare health insurance and provides some of those services to them. Also, one of the large demographics that gets overlooked are people of all ages with certain disabilities. That's going to be huge. As long as somebody's been disabled, and been awarded disability through the court system for at least 24 months, then they are eligible to receive Medicare, and they can be my age. They can be in their 20s, 30s, 40s. It does not matter. They can be awarded that Medicare after the 24 months of being disabled. So drop that quick Medicare on them, help them identify who qualifies, their red, white, and blue Medicare card. Be very visual. That's why I love using the flyers, because you can be very visual. You can go ahead and let them know this card right here, this red, white, and blue card, it says Medicare on it. That's for individuals, like I said, 65, ESRD, or with a certain disability under the age of 65. This is what's going to help them get these type of benefits. They may also have a Medicaid card. And in the state of Arizona, it's called Access. And so what that card does is it does nothing more than allow them to get onto this Medicare Advantage plan. This is a Medicare Advantage plan. You do not bill Medicaid for this plan, but it is a qualifier in order for an individual to receive these benefits. Also, go in, and become educated on the other plans in your area. And again, I will use Arizona for the year 2017. If you have other insurance companies in your area, like there's a Health Choice here in Arizona, a Mercy Care, a couple of these plans that you want to kind of focus in on what the strengths of the plan that you're representing, or if you represent all of them, you want to let them know, hey, I'm very educated on these plans. I've been doing it, and studying this. And just to let you know, if you're looking to replace somebody's dentures, United Healthcare is the only plan in Maricopa County that actually pays for dentures. And if somebody comes up with a Health Choice and it says Generations on it, that Health Choice Generations card actually is the same thing as if they walked in with their Medicare, Medicaid cards separately. They qualify just like those people do to have it. They actually already have a plan that's similar to this, but that doesn't offer any type of dental benefit for dentures. So, you want to educate the providers on who it is that qualifies and kind of go from there. You'd be surprised how many people don't know what's available to them out there in regards to, who qualifies, how many individuals there are, the potential that's out there for, especially these providers, to pick up some extra money and actually help out their members. Because again, remember, if they're low income for Medicare and Medicaid, then what's going to end up happening is these individuals probably aren't going to come back more than once or twice. Because they do not have the finances to pay for cleanings, exams, x-rays, everything like that every 6 months. But this plan covers those benefits. That's why we're so passionate about working with the providers, is because they're huge on going through and being able to continually get these individuals in and offer them a service that's going to help them out, not just right now, but every 6 months, get them back in. So as we start to build these relationships, out of the 8-week challenge, here's a couple of ideas of what you could do by visiting them once a week. Now, you can allow yourself a free week, so if you need to go 7 and 8, that's fine. Just be consistent. But every time you go in, you want to take them something. Take them flyers. Maybe there's a flyer holder for your flyers. Where is it that you can Is there a desk in the corner that you can have one of the plastic flyer holders with your flyer sitting in there in case somebody comes by and maybe they don't want to talk to the front office, or maybe they're there for them and they see your flyer on the coffee table in the corner and think, hey, you know what, my mom or my aunt they qualify for this plan. They could use these benefits. You want to capture those individuals as well. Get that approved with the office, but you want to ask them those type of things and use that as an excuse to come by. Sometimes the providers will drop off pins, and different promo items and stuff. So you want to grab some of those from the carriers if at all possible. I always take them little things, little treats, donuts, Starbucks, Red Bulls, whatever it is. When I had my offices, I knew one girl liked Red Bulls with sugar and one girl liked Red Bulls without sugar. And so, the zero carb, zero sugar drinks, energy drinks, I went in with one of each and they loved me. And they were just excited to see something like that, because most of the time as somebody goes in, they're used to people going in, but they're used to people kind of trying to blow past them and go see the provider themselves, the doctor or the dentist or the office manager. And they don't really get paid attention to all that much. So by us turning our focus on to them and letting them know that they're the most important people that we need to talk to, because they're the ones in control of who gets their information or not, you want to treat them right. I've had agents take them, donuts, again, like I said, Starbucks, vegetable trays, who knows, whatever they like, maybe homemade, maybe store-bought, doesn't matter. Whatever you like, just take them something, be nice to them. We want to create a relationship. Business reply cards. We'll go over that approach in just a little bit, but yeah, order those from the carriers that says, hey, if you have questions as a Medicare beneficiary and you want me to give you a call, all you have to do is fill out this information. Well, you leave that packet over there with the provider and have them fill it out. And when they're with the provider, and because you're going to be there on a consistent basis for 8 weeks, right? You are going to stop by every single week and pick up the ones that they got filled out for you. And they're going to want to help you, of course. Hey, make it a game, make it a bet. Once you good enough to that relationship, I definitely wouldn't say doing this right off the bat, but I got to the point where I was like, hey, you know what, if you give me 10 referrals today, I'll order AJ's pizza in for you guys, or AJ's, lunch for you guys, whatever it was. So it was definitely fun and games after a little while, and they were really trying to help me out, as well as it made them look good in the eyes of their boss. Sometimes these carriers will actually have pull-up banners or other carrier promotional items, and you can order that and stick it in their office. And a lot of them once they get into the hang of it, your stuff will be all over their office, and you'll be their number one go-to person. So you always want to add something to that, whether it's, again, flyers, pins, donuts, BRCs, banners, anything physical you can. But again, the most valuable thing that you can do is add industry knowledge. If there's changes coming up in the next little while, we are in October right now, and there's the new benefits coming out. You want to be that industry expert. Let them know, hey, there's a new plan coming in. There's these benefits changing. They're going up, they're going down. Or did you hear about this company? They're leaving. And you always want to give them a heads up and see if you can add that value in, to which most other agents are not going to do that. Now, phase 2 of educating the providers is showing them how to connect the dots. We've already gone through educating them on who qualifies, help them identifying, the Medicare eligibles, who it is that qualifies, what cards do they have, or what other insurance do they have that could help them qualify. Now, once they understand that, you want to help them progress then to the next stage. The next stage and the next phase is going to be, how are they going to get their clients' information into your hands, because we cannot compliantly call them without permission. So, first and foremost, it's super easy. You're going to hand out our flyer. That's not a big deal. Everyone can hand out the flyers. But, as the relationship starts to progress, you want to see if you can get those business reply cards or permission to call slips, because my approach is usually like, hey, I understand that you've been handing out my flyers. It's kind of a 50-50. Sometimes when these people leave your office, they may either be in pain, or they're going to a family members, or they've got to catch the bus, or they may be busy. So my flyers get left all over the place. But if they fill out this information, it allows me to call them if they don't get a hold of me by calling my number off the flyer, you know? And there's a couple of different ways we can do it. You're going to want to save that information, or you can actually send it to me one way or the other. Now, let them know, of course, because again, it keeps going back to this consistency. Because you're going to be in the area, they know that they can rely on you to stop by next week at the same time to pick up whatever they did. So you'll go by, pick up the permission to calls, give them a call if those clients have not contacted you. Or what they can do is they can reach out to you directly. You know, the office can. You build a good enough relationship and let them know, I am available. I understand the importance of this. And sometimes we got to catch these people, especially at the end of the month, right then and there. So don't be afraid to call me right on the phone at your office. Send me an email, shoot me a text, whatever you got to do to let me know that these people are ready to go. I can get them enrolled because these plans go into effect the first of the following month, and we want to get them enrolled as quickly as possible. So let them know you're available and how to get a hold of you. Then you're going to want to teach them how to mind their own book of business. They've got tons and tons of clients that they can go back through and reach out to them. Now, we compliantly cannot reach out to these individuals, but as the provider themselves, we can definitely, help them out by identifying, again, who qualifies and how they can get those people back into the office. It's easier to keep those people coming in once every 6 months and have that consistent cash flow coming in versus trying to spend all this money on advertising and radio ads or newspaper ads or TV ads and trying to drive more traffic in. Just continue to mine the same clients that have been coming to you year after year, or who have at least come to them once and trust them, but don't have the finances to pull it off and come back on a consistent basis. Do that by teaching them how to go through their own book of business and reaching out to those individuals. Again, when I had my office, I let them know, hey, give them a call. And their whole approach was, hi, you know what, Sally? This is Jennifer from Dr. Anderson's office. We saw you back in May for filling. Wanted to make sure that everything was okay. Want to let you know as well that we'd love to get you back in. And I know that I was going through your files and reviewing them, and it looks like you qualify for both Medicare and Medicaid. And I wanted to let you know that we accept an insurance plan that's called United Healthcare, and you actually qualify for that for no additional cost. And we at the office, we can bill and have your teeth cleaned and oral exams and everything done on a consistent basis and keep you healthy so it doesn't get as bad as it did before you came in. Keep your teeth now nice and healthy. And I actually have a local representative. He's awesome. He does a great job. His name is Marcos. I'd love to have him get in contact with you. And I'd love to have you to meet and actually get enrolled onto this plan so we can get you back in as soon as next month. How does that sound? Can you give him a call, because I have his information, or stop by the office, fill out a paper, and I can get it over to him, and he'll call you within the next 24 to 48 hours. That was a golden approach. I mean, it took a little while for us to get there, but it did work, and the office understood the importance of how we could work through all that together. So that's down the road, of course, but that's after you build the relationship and you've created that value within yourself and the company that you're representing. So our whole thing is, again, help them help you, because our time is our marketing methods are a little bit more difficult on the Medicare Advantage side because of CMS regulations about cold calling and approaching and those type of things. We have to be creative. And so we're going to want them to help us, and vice versa. We're going to work together. A lot of times too, you got to remember that sometimes offices, they have different office managers, or if they have multiple offices and, the front desk person works at a different location on different days and somebody else fills in, or maybe they're out to lunch and you have the dental assistant in the back who comes up and meets somebody. You don't want any of those opportunities to be a missed opportunity. So you want to bring everybody in, heck, even if the dentist wants to join in, but the whole dental assistant, the front office, everyone like that, and let them know, hey, let's do a lunch and learn. Let's do a meeting. And that way I can explain to everybody what it is that I do. And when you're in these meetings, personally, what I've done, I just say, hey, you know what? The pharmaceutical reps, the guys from Crest or Colgate, they're going to bring you all the big, heavy stuff, for luncheons and catering and all this and that. I'm just going to bring in something nice, light, maybe a pizza, maybe some, soda pop. What do you guys like? Just let me know. Maybe I'll get some subs. Just something light and quick, and just so I can explain to everybody what we do. And when you do, a couple of key points, and when you do bring that together, a lunch and learn, a couple of key points that you want to do are explain who we are. We're independent agents. We work for we can represent multiple companies. We work with the population. What do? We work with the population who qualifies for Medicare and Medicaid. We are actually presenting a specific plan. So what is the plan? The plan is United Healthcare Dual Complete. It offers $2,500 worth of dental benefits, including cleanings, oral exams, x-rays once every 6 months, and dentures. And we are working with individuals who qualify for Medicare by having one of the 3 qualifying conditions, which is 65, ESRD, or a disability at any age, and has Medicaid as well. On top of, they could have these other plans. So if somebody comes up with one of these other health insurance, these Medicare Advantage plans, then they can go ahead and get enrolled as well. And again, you're going to want to go through to the whole office of, hey, if you see any of the old patients or new patients, this is how we're going to get them enrolled. This is how we're going to work together. So you've already done all of this with the front office for over a couple of weeks now. Now you want to bring in the whole office and see if you can bring it in together and really show them what it is that you're doing instead of some random agent coming in and out once a week. Once you've gone through there, and you started getting into a couple of different weeks in your 8-week challenge, maybe week 3 or 4 or 5, but midway through, you're going to start realizing that not everyone really grasps this office yet, or this concept. Yes, they may be a contracted provider. And yes, they may be a qualified office by seeing these patients, but they may not see them a whole heck of a lot. And they may not be a large portion of their book of business. So what we're going to do is we're going to manage our offices in a way that we can go ahead and prioritize them. A, B, and C offices. 1, 2, and 3. I don't care how you name it. Very simple. A is they're super eager to work with you. They understand it. They're probably already sending people to you within the next couple of days. They understand it. They get the concept. Either you've taught them about it, or another agent has come by and crashed and burned. And we'll talk about why agents do that in just a little bit in the next couple of slides. But they're a very eager office and very bright office, and they want to work with you. A B office is somebody who's progressing, but they're not a top referring office. They still kind of struggle. Maybe it's just they don't see that many clients. Maybe they don't understand exactly what's going on about who qualifies, and so you're trying to educate them along the way as well. And then your C offices are, maybe you're going to stop by if you have time. But hey, once every 6 months or so, you may want to stop by. So they're not your top office. They're not a hot office. It's just an office that you may not even go by and see a whole heck of a lot. Honestly, these are the offices that they don't really see any value in working with us. And it sounds mean, but I wait a couple months, 6 months down the road, wait for that front desk person to get fired and go back. And it sounds kind of harsh, but the reality is if I'm offering a dentist free money just for sending me clients, and that person is not going to work with me, I don't understand that. That does not make any sense whatsoever. So I'm going to go back by when somebody else there understands the concept, and chances are that person may not be there a whole heck of a lot longer than the first couple times you went and met with them. So it's always worth that shot. And so you always want to prioritize it. Keep them in priority as you start going week 5, 6, 7, and 8. By the time you hit week 8, you're not even going to see those C offices. You know automatically you're not going to see them. They're not part of your 8-week visits, and that's okay. Maybe it's timing. Maybe it's personality. Maybe it's just never going to be an office that is going to materialize for you or for anybody else. So it's okay. part of it is progressing the relationship. So as we're progressing the relationship, it's going to be a couple of key things that we're going to want to focus on. One is setting the proper expectations, letting them know I'm going to be here. I'm going to be enrolling people. I'm going to be sending people your direction, but I also know that you're going to be sending people my direction. And because you're going to be sending people my direction, I am going to be responding to you. I'm going to be in constant communication to them, with you. As soon as somebody enrolls, I'm going to go ahead and follow up. I'm going to let you know when you can get them in for the next appointment and when they should expect it to be enrolled, and just really setting that proper expectation. I don't want to be a bother to you, but this is a huge benefit for both you and your office, and I'd love to work with you. Helping them know what the next step is key. Really depends on what week of the visit you are. If you're in there on the first week, the next step is for them to allow you to put up a flyer, and the next step after that is to get a BRC card, and the next step after that is to constantly be on the lookout for somebody who qualifies, and let them know that at any point in time they can call you, and they can check up with people that they've sent your direction and in your way. So continually progress and let them know what the next step is. Of course, like we mentioned earlier, add that value, be that industry leader, help them with any questions that you have. And a lot of times they may be a good office that has had a bad experience in the past, or they may be currently having a bad experience after someone that you enrolled, and let them know, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. But what I will do is I will go back. I will contact the carrier and I will let them know what's going on, see what I can do to resolve this issue. I can't promise you I'm going to resolve it because I'm not, an employee of the dental department for United Healthcare. But you know me, I'm here every week. I'm building this relationship with you, and I will do my best to get this resolved. And then go back to the carrier and tell them what's going on. Hey, you guys got to really step it up because this is my office and I can't afford to lose them. They are a great office. And so you want to add that value of maybe you can't solve the problem personally, but you're going to be that middleman person who will always be there on their side. Again, going through that phase 1, phase 2, which is what we talked about earlier on educating the providers by letting them know who qualifies, and then how to connect the dots. So those are your phase 1, phase 2, and let them know that that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be educating them on if they have any questions on who qualifies. They don't have to be the experts. Just send them over to you. And you can use that as a teaching opportunity to let them know who qualifies. Some of the biggest pitfalls, let's talk about that. Why doesn't this work? Or why most agents say it does not work. Some of the biggest pitfalls are when an agent walks in, they continue to go around and around and around in circles, meaning they have not mastered their elevator speech just yet. They will go in and start fumbling. Hey, my name is Marcos. If anyone qualifies for Medicare, Medicaid, they'll continue going on info dumping for 10, 15 minutes, and then they'll go through again, and they'll continue to do some more, circles back around, again, like I said, if anyone qualifies for Medicare, Medicaid, they don't know how to progress the conversation. And so they're sitting there wasting their time, wasting the individual's time, and they just feel like, it was kind of confusing, to say the least. They just confused the heck out of the front desk office. But that's where you coming in, knowing your elevator speech, you can go in and mess up and be in and out in 5 minutes and recover from that, because they know, hey, this guy, I don't know what he did the first time. He messed up, but it wasn't so bad that you couldn't rebound from it. It wasn't to the point where they were just like, holy cow, this guy's got to shut up and get out of my office. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Especially as a new agent, you may get a little nervous. Don't worry. That's okay. It's okay to go with the flow. And if you're in and out in a relatively short time, they're going to forgive that meeting because you're there trying to help them out versus waste their time. After that, the second biggest pitfall is a lack of follow-up. That's huge. A lack of follow-up. If they send you a referral, they don't know if you enrolled them, talked to them, didn't call them. They have no idea what's going on. And a lot of agents will do that, and it's pretty sad, but it's actually very common. So you always want to let them know what's going on. And then the inconsistency. And the inconsistency all obviously falls back on the lack of follow-up as well. But, it's that not going in once a week. And I know, again, like I said, I know it sounds like it's intense, but it really isn't. You set aside one day or maybe even one morning, and you go every single week without fail, and you educate them, and you build that relationship, and they look forward to that next Starbucks coffee that you're going to bring them. And they want to sit down and they want to chat and they want to see, your story, hear stories about your kids and your parents. And I mean, some of my offices, they've done dental work on my parents and on myself. And, we know who they are. They know my children. It's become a working relationship, and no one will ever take those offices away from me. And that is a great feeling. And they have agents who continually go in there and try to work with them. And they just say, nope, I'm sorry, I'm working with Marcos. Nope, I'm sorry, that's not happening. They're like, well, can we leave a flyer? Nope. Everything goes to him. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to leave. And I've had some offices that are very honestly brutal and honest like that. But it's a great feeling, so you can really build these relationships to make it very strong. And it's all about being consistent and following up. And even if you did mess up in the beginning, it's okay. So I'll follow up for what we have here. We got one more slide after this one. So I just want to wrap it up. And in closing, I want to go over a couple of things. Number one is you do not need 100 offices to keep you successful. I promise you, if you do that and you stretch yourself too thin, you are not going to be able to service them, get around to them, and talk to them as much as you would like to. Now, you will probably see 100 offices to find your 5 or 6 A offices. And that's okay. Right there, it does not say you do not need to visit 100 offices or have visited 100 offices. You just need to put the time and effort into finding a few of those key A offices, which could take 100 or so offices. I don't know what your area looks like. I know I've visited probably hundreds of dentist offices. But you know what? In the end, I found the low-bearing fruit and people that I wanted to work with, and we made it a very successful relationship together. You're going to focus on the offices that really comprehend what we are trying to do. It's a partnership. We're working together. They are our A offices, and we want to treat them top notch and have them do the same thing for us. So where it is consistent, you have 5 or 6 offices or 10 offices. It's okay if one doesn't send you a lead this week because you got 2 or 3 other ones that did send you a lead. And then if all of them are firing on all cylinders, well, there you go. You got 3, 4 offices. I personally worked with up to a maximum of 4 offices, 2 to 3 a week. I mean, you're at the very minimum, 8 to 10 to 12 leads for doing nothing a week, a month. That's pretty good, And so I did a lot more than that for referrals, and it's a great feeling, and it works. Keep in contact after enrolling a referral from your office so they can expect to have that client in again. Again, that goes back to the whole lack of follow-up. You'd be surprised how many people we have gone, how many offices I've gone into, and because of the lack of follow-up and the inconsistency of the agent before, that office had no other knowledge of any other agents, so they continually fed this agent these leads, not knowing what was going on. The second I walked in, I explained to them what I did, how I did it, what our relationship is going to look like, because I set those proper expectations. They shut down that other agent and started working with me because they appreciated that and they valued that more than anything. Again, you're going to want to focus on your A, B, and C offices, categorize them. Print out the provider directories and go through them and make notes. Who is the office manager? Who is the front desk girl? What are they like? What are their hours? Are they an A office, a B office, a C office? Really focus on those things. So those are some of the things that we want to ensure to help you ensure success. So before you start next week's training, before you jump into another training, really take this to heart. Don't forget to go to our website and complete the week actions plan, or download it. That's accompanied with this right here. I would say next week, here's what you need to do. Or even today or tomorrow, this is what you should do. Whenever you're listening to this, pull a list of at least 25 different providers. Now, that's key. 25 different providers. You may have one office that has 15 different dentists in that location, and you think, oh yeah, you know what, I printed out 10 pages and there's only 4 different dentists. That does not qualify as different providers. So make sure that you have that set up properly. Start with 25. That's all you need. Go visit them. And that may take you all day. It may take you all week. It doesn't matter. Out of those ones, you'll start realizing which ones are going to be your A, B, and C office pretty quickly. Call or visit these providers and then start keeping track of your progress with this 8-week challenge. I promise you, some agents have seen success in literally minutes from walking out of the office. I personally have with an agent, literally within 15 minutes, we got a phone call because they understood what was going on because the agent before them really messed it up. And then I've had other agents who, have been told that literally that they're God sent because no one has explained any of this information to them and they did not know what to do. And so you would be surprised on how many agents are not out there. And you know what? If you're running into agents that are out there, that's okay. Keep going. Keep finding your offices. Agents do get lazy. Agents do kind of slack off, especially this time of the year for annual enrollment period. If you're listening to it during annual enrollment period, it's a great time. Some people just kind of forget what brought them success and kind of move on to different things and forget their offices. So it's your opportunity to pick it up, especially if I were to ever drop any of my offices, man, that next person's going to be sitting pretty because my offices have been trained on what to do, who to look for, how to get things done, and really run with it. They understand that. And so it'd be a huge mistake on my part if that ever happened. So that is our training for dental providers. There's going to be a couple other things that you can do, different trainings that you can go through and see. Again, watch providers, working with providers, our video clips, and let me know within your other emails or your big 3 list of what you're doing, how is it going. I love hearing these success stories. I love sharing these success stories with other agents like yourself if you're listening to it, and really looking forward to it. So keep me in the loop. You could always get a hold of me at the office. Email marcos@srmedsolutions.net. Love to hear these stories. So thanks again, everybody. Good luck, and keep me in the loop on what happens.